All right, well, good afternoon. This is Omar Stennett, and you are tuning into I Am Sure Sports. I'm so delighted that you have joined us today for this another episode of the big show, the new show, the good show that is all around town and making the rounds. We have something very interesting for you. We should have done this on Saturday, but due to circumstances beyond our control, we were unable to. But this episode today, live and in living colors, we will be having Mr. Danny Beckford. He's the president of the Saint Anne Football Association. Yeah, man. Uh, he is I mean, so many things to say, but before we get into that, we have to introduce you to our channel. So just stay tuned and listen to our little promo video.
I am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy, 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 boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that mean me not say it. Know who score, that mean me not say it. Never know no game play, that mean me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Yes, so there you have it. I am sure sports. Make sure you tune in. Listen, as we begin today, remember if you have any questions for Mr. Beckford, please do not hesitate to do so. I know he's very diplomatic, but he's very open and honest. So he will give you what you need to hear, which is the truth. So we have with us today, stalwart in Jamaica's football, long-standing, person who has been instrumental in football in St. Anne and in Jamaica. Developed many young talents. I could call out names on the female side. If you know Jody Brown, you know that he was instrumental in her development, and Lacey and Murray. You heard about Kareem Paris and Alwyn Harvey. You have Daniel Green. Some of these players have spent most of their youthful career under the astute tutelage of Mr. Danny Beckford. Some of you will probably say, "Oh, this man did football so long," right? But he's here to stay. He's at the back end probably of his tenure in football right now, and he's creating his succession plan to leave a legacy and stuff. Instrumental in also the Mount Pleasant initiation in the parish of St. Anne, but don't want to take away from him because he's a busy man. And so, Mr. Beckford, welcome to I Am Sure Sport. How are you doing today? I hope you're not watching any football like you normally do, but you're going to focus on this.
Good afternoon, Pastor, and good afternoon to your listeners and your viewers. And you forget one important name to Imani Beckford.
Imani Beckford, yes, who went to the Under-17 World Cup with Jamaica. Yes. That was the Under-17 World Cup that had players like down at Mount Pleasant right now. What's his name? Benbow was a part of that team.
No, he didn't go to the World Cup, but he played in the
qualifiers
in Panama.
Yeah, man. And all his son for the most part played football. I think Imani probably has played at the highest level of all of them. But all of them, they have been involved in football. You may not know this, but Mr. Beckford also played some football. Can't say he was very good at it, Mr. Vic, what were your football exploits like?
1974-75, third place with Chelsea in the Cravener Premier League, and 1975-76, third place with Brazil in the Premier League. So can't get no better than that. We won the country part of it because only two Kingston team that finish above us. So I think we had some pedigree. Was invited among 5 Brazil players to the national setup, but finally only 4 went, which include the great Delroy Milo Hines in that time.
Okay, all right, cool. And I mean, you're all. Some people don't know that you're also a FIFA referee.
Almost.
Okay, but you officiated in the
Almost.
Premier League in Jamaica, though.
Yeah, man. We one of the biggest matches ever played. Arnett Gardens versus Tivoli at Arnett. First time in 28 years, and one of them will play again on them home ground. And we did that game, and that year we were recommended for FIFA, but somewhere along the line we weren't pushed right up to the top. So we live with that.
Okay, okay. And how long have you been in football administration? In St. Anne and with the
1971, he became the general secretary of Chelsea Football Club. 1988, we became the general secretary for the St. Anne Football. And 1994, we became the chairman of Eastern Confederation at the time. That put us in the vice president slot at the time for GFF. And I must say, for that, we have been on the only GFF board that has qualified for the Senior Men's World Cup. We were on the board at the time when we qualified for 98.
Okay, that was under. And how many different presidents have you worked with in terms of your time with the GFF? Yeah,
a whole heap, you know.
Or all of them?
All yeah, man. Whole heap of them. You know, but you know the most famous one, the great Sir Harris, Captain Burrell.
Right. And you worked now with Michael Ricketts. Before that, there was also Creston. You were part of it when Creston Boxill was also.
Boxill, we work with Mr. Boxill. We work with Tony James.
Tony James.
We work with the St. Thomas man. What name again? We work with a whole heap of them.
Okay. And you yourself, you have also contended the presidency of the GFF.
Tried to,
but never been. I mean,
nominations. You know.
Oh, you have not. Oh, okay. You have never gotten past the nomination stages. What you think? I mean, given just what is happening with our football, what you think would lead to people? Because almost every time there is a election cycle, you hear people say things need to change, but there's normally not a lot of nomination for new faces. Why do you think
I'm
that
going to tell you something. Just to start the progress of your program, what is happening now in football has happened over the years in other sporting and political bodies, where once you can garner the political aspect of it and get the votes to be the maximum leader, well, that is the main priority. Right now in football, the main priority is not advancing football per se, but the persons who, because football is a multi-million-dollar industry now. So once you control that, you control the purse strings that can alter the lives of majority of our sporting youths were in the football. So it has been hijacked by politics, and the results is being played out in the media almost every day.
Every day. I see. I have a first question here for you, Mr. Beckford. Mr. Beckford, it says, what are your plans or vision for Jamaica's football?
The main plan is development, you know, man. So the development for keep the social, because the social, for me, the social aspect, the social impact on the sport in the country is my paramount thing. So if we can get the Khadija Shahs and the others from that hill to reach where they reach, then it makes our days. So the others coming up will see where those are coming from and try emulate and reach where we reach. And it will impact our sporting genre very, 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 very good. The thing is, development is not such a byword nowadays in football. See? Our main concern now is to put as much resources as possible in the road to Qatar World Cup thing. So a lot of things, by the way, especially in this COVID time, is being left by the wayside. But thankfully, from our standpoint, development is it, and we must go in at the nook and crannies, all of the parishes, not just St. Anna, Kingston, and St. Anna, all of the parishes to see the best talent. Because that maybe go into our next question, our next answer session, where when you get the talents from the parishes, then that is one of the biggest marketing tool you can have to know, say, a child come from Hanover, and the Hanoverians know, say, that is, and they will come out and support in the long run that person is selected for any age group national program.
Okay, so it is to get the football playing in the nook and crannies of Jamaica, getting the development instead of focusing. I want to make sure I communicate this right. Instead of just primarily putting all our resources behind a World Cup campaign, is to get some of those resources into the grassroots aspects of the football. But what would be the strategic? Because people are saying that, well, what if someone say, well, that sounds good, but how do we do that when you'd almost think like maybe football has died in Hanover, maybe it has died in Westmoreland, as if football feels like at Frome. They have turned into forests all across Jamaica, especially because of the pandemic. How are we going to re-engage those youngsters? I mean, in football again, what's the benefit?
Yeah, and a lot of footballers are gravitating to other traditional means of employment, the 9 to 5, and so, because the football has been in limbo due primarily to the pandemic for the last year and a half. One of my biggest achievements was the business house football, where we get youngsters who can play football to be employed at the hotels or the government institutions and on the floor. In that time that about telephone company, and the hotels and the police. So we have over the years the business house, and I must tell you, for 21 out of 24 years, we had Sandal sponsoring the business house, and it is no mean achievement to know that a corporate entity like Sandals to sponsor you for 21 years. And thousands, minimum 100, thousands upon thousands of youth have been gainfully employed through football in the companies. And as I say, it did wonders for the social impact of football. Right now, I can tell you, football in St. Anne, even with the pandemic, is basically alive and well, and just waiting on, well, the truncated Premier League to start anytime soon. So the developmental aspect has to be the priority. Everything else will come. Qualifying for World Cup at the age groups under 15, under 17, under 20, both boys and girls. So once we do that, but there's a disconnect right now. We're in and we're moving to ready-made players per se, or the English base, which I have no problem with them representing Jamaica. But get the priorities together, and to start when we get the go ahead to do some minimal things in the parishes, then we know that we have to start from the grassroots thing. Get the kids them back together. Them come out, breathe the fresh air, run up and down, stretch them legs, first thing. And then we move into the meat of the matter where the under 13 boys, under 15 girls, under 15 boys is concerned, and start there again.
Yeah. So this person is asking again, so what changes need to be made to fulfill this vision? Do you think there are changes being made to fulfill this goal, which is the vision that you have outlined? Are there, I guess, is this present administration making it? All right. So is the present administration making the changes to fulfill the vision that you have?
I still hardly hearing him.
All right, I think you need to check on it. Maybe you got a call and you mute something. I don't know. Did you get a call? Maybe you got a call or something. So you need to check on your side of the phone. You hearing me now? You not hearing me?
Maybe we can go to a break and try to get it back up.
All right. So what you can do, if you can sign off and then you can come back on. Just reconnect. All right. So having some technical issues with Mr. Beckford here. So let's see if we can sort those out and then have him. You hearing me now?
Yes.
All right. So probably you got a phone call. So this person is asking what changes need to be made to fulfill this vision. Do you think there are changes that these changes are being made to fulfill this goal, which is what the goal that you're alluding to before?
Well, as I said, with all due respect, the present administration, therein lies where the change needs to be made, the thinking process of those people. So, as I said, World Cup qualification and all very well and good, but we know that somewhere down the line, very shortly, we may get some level of go ahead to start, know how small in terms of the pandemic issues and the protocols to start. So we need to start back this. And it's not a matter of reinventing the wheel. It has been there already. We had sponsors for national grassroots, and we had in our standpoint, we had local sponsors who fund certain things in terms of getting the talent out. But when you start getting the talent out, and you name some of the players where come to our system to strengthen the national program. And once we make it simple and basic and know where the vision is and where we want to go, the proverbial sky is the limit. So what we need to do is some of the times to our loyal supporters, and therein lies our biggest, all of the sponsors you can get. Our biggest sponsors are the grassroots people where come through the turnstiles at the national or local level. And if they turn them off, then you know, because a lot of times we don't have sponsorship in this parish, and these are the people that come through the turnstiles on any given day that keep the ball rolling. So we just need to engage all of the stakeholders. And when I say all of the stakeholders, the people that matters, not the people who have the big talk and can talk, and then at the end of the day, there is nothing. So at the end of the day, the concern from some of your listeners and viewers is that, yeah, we need to get back to our core business, which is development of football. And that is what, as far as me concerned, any administration should have as the #1 priority.
But what about those who would say, well, Mr. Beckford, they're talking about the administration. You're a part of the administration. What about those who would say that?
Yeah, man, them have a valid thing.
You're a part of the administration. Man. What are you talking about? What about those who would?
We are part of it. We agree. Go down, we are part of it. And then being one of the stalwarts and long time, whatever, a lot of times now, you give your views on things and going forward because you have done it already. You have been there and you have done that. But sadly, a lot of people ignore that almost totally and go about them businesses and solidify themselves politically in the administration. And there is where some of the big letdowns come. So we have been a part of the administration, and we're trying for what we've done already, what we have achieved already, we're trying to get back on that part. And it's very difficult to have some people know who their main motive is political and way and call it power, to come back to the whole thing of football development.
Okay. And so if you were, say I mean, the miraculous happened and you were the president, what are
president of what, the GFF?
Yeah, man, the GFF. Because what would be your most immediate actions?
The most immediate man to me is simple and whatever. Get back to the core business of developing football. Not just one glamour and glitter area, developing the football holistically. And when you develop the football holistically, and the persons that be who make the merry go round in terms of football, because and then one of the things I must get clear when we talk about sponsors, and you know, in our parish, for example, we do engage sponsors, we engage investors. So a lot of people come and invest, and we know that when you invest in the football, there is things to be had from your standpoint, and you just put in a so-called resources and money, and that's it. We engage holistically as an investor. So we need tomorrow, and in a big chat, we know if we engage the people, marketing wise and every wise, and putting the product out there. If you know so well, then football can go back to the glory days. Not so the glory days of World Cup or whatever, because that is a part of it. But the glory days of engaging most, if not all of the parishes, young youths, them back into the fold of football.
Again, let me say it again, because sometimes the thing that people sometimes what people consider is, listen, but you're part of the administration, you have all of these ideas, why aren't you doing what you can with the administration to implement some of these things? Because they seem like brilliant ideas, but you're part of it. Why aren't they being implemented? Why we don't see you as part of the implementing body of some of these wonderful plans?
And it is very specific, and if people know the history of certain things, by trying to put forward some of our fantastic ideas, they were saying we got suspension and all of that thing, if you remember. So when you see you're a part of something, and the leadership is going down a faulty road or something would not benefit the thing, and you're trying to get them attention and say, boss, just tweak a little. You don't have to make a wholesale change, but just tweak a little to go in certain directions. And then a man will look at you and say, well, then you is against some administration and suspend you for how much months. So the history out there has shown that a lot of times, and then some of the times people say controversial or whatever. It isn't. What you do is within the administration, and you are part of the administration, you have put your hands up to say, listen, we're not in agreement in the whole direction of what this administration is going or where it is going. Because sadly, a lot of the persons in this administrative thing just there for the glamour and the glitter and the trips and the this and the that. The hard work and the backbreaking thing is not a part of them resume. So that is where we have been in this for years and know what to expect when you go certain directions, and then a lot of persons come into the thing long after you head the administration and say, some of the times this foolishness we attack and go and sit down. So even though you're in the administration for years, and we have been there for years, that is the attitude.
You're saying that you don't have a say. Or you don't have a say.
Remember, them suspend us for saying. Just saying,
Okay. All right, so this person has a question. Said, Mr. Beckford, do you believe that Mount Pleasant Academy, Phoenix Academy, and other academies will revolutionize Jamaica's football?
All right, can I say to you, Mount Pleasant itself has already revolutionized certain things in football nationally. And I must tell you, say, with the continued growth and success, they will help others to help revolutionize the whole football thing. And I must say to you, even the academy itself, where you get some of our budding talent to be there, and in the academy, within 4 or 5 years, you will see we start see the fruits of the labor of Mount Pleasant. And I must say kudos to the owner himself, who was after what I don't call it now, motivation. I know we have motivated him a lot, and in decide to put him money where in mouth. And this present day, this is where we are at. We have a truncated Premier League to start, and some of the pundits and the bookmakers have Mount Pleasant Football Club, the aspect of it, as the current favorites. So let's see where that goes. But revolution, and then with the advent of Mount Pleasant to where it is today, a lot of other persons now are trying to get resources to put into an academy, because right now a football school where its main focus is on football teaching and development is needed even the 14 parishes. So that is good. The advent of the academy, football academy, is very good.
Argue well for the right. Well said. Mount Pleasant is in fact changing and things. So because this person is kind of emphasizing that too often the national program is used for the development of players, and shouldn't that be the role of the clubs in the different parishes to develop talent, probably through their academy systems, through their
Yes
training
and
program?
no, yes and no, yes and no, because and therein lies the shortfall of our football development that me I talk to you about and whatever. A lot of times, budding talent come to the national program and them woefully short on even the basic aspects of football development, even at the age them supposed to be. Heading and passing and things. You know them in them little community and in them little thing. And you know they broke the whole place and play, but when they go to the national program now, the whole aspect of the technical aspect of it is woefully lacking. So somewhere along the line you have to do some of that too, development when they come to the national program. And then in the meantime, and it should have been from the national body, GFF, to try and ensure that some level of development in other parishes, because you have every parish, you have parish association. So documentation I will go out and say at least this is the minimum. Thankfully, in the aspect of club registration and club level, documents are go out now as we speak in terms of where we want the clubs to be. So on a scale of 1 to 10, and the question and answer thing, do you have a paid coach? Do you have a venue for yourself? Do you have, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Do you have professional players and so on? So if on a scale of 1 to 10, you are 2, with the hope is that next year you might reach 4 or 5, and the year after that you reach 7. So it's a gradual developmental step. So as I say, people with emphasis on the glamour and glitter will get us nowhere. We'll just go around in cycle and wait till the next World Cup cycle come, and we hype and try to get the media and the spectators behind us, and then go on. But in the meantime, if there was any development, there wouldn't be a Khadija Shah today, or a Jody Brown and the woman thing, or a Blackwood and whatever. So going out again and getting ready-made players from England, yes, or a lot of the college kids from America in terms of the women thing, yes, but we still need to develop our basic girls and boys who have the talent here. Unless we are going to kill with them.
And this is a very, I like when you touch on the influx of I don't want to say English players, because they are not English players, they are Jamaicans.
Jamaicans, yeah.
Right. Jamaican playing their trade in England. They may not have been born here, but they are just as Jamaican as all of us. Because I'm one of a Jamaican citizenship. He's a Jamaican, whether I'm born in China, he's born in Japan, he's born in England, he's born in Westmoreland. It don't matter, right? Because, previously there was this countryman town man in a Jamaican football.
Right.
Now it has moved from country and town to Jamaica and England, as if it's rivalry. Because people used to complain, be a town man, them having on the side, and them no respect countryman. Now it seems like the football is getting into be an Englishman and then respect Jamaican. So my question to you is, because they have a program called the Coach's Desk, and Mr. Speed was on it yesterday or last night, and they were having a discussion about the amount of English based players versus locally based players. All right. How do you see that? Would you have a problem if 23 players in the national team are all out of England, or if say let's use 16 are the majority. How does, if the best players, if the 23 best players are born in England, should they all be in the team?
All right, put it this way. There's a 60-man provisional team, roster. Good?
Yeah.
And as you say, if at the end of the day, 23 are selected for the Gold Cup and the 23 of them are basically English born, that means you go through the process and they are the quote unquote best team. Go for it. But you have now where the problem lies. Even at the protracted wage dispute some months ago and whatever, there was a school of thought that said, some of our executives that said, yeah, you see the troublemaker them, and we don't call enough of the local band players will even get a bus in America or somewhere or whatever. Get rid of them and just use the English base, which is, it would be a big retrograde step. So that sort of thinking still permeates, you know. But good sense will prevail if you know that even at the 23, you might still have some of the Jamaican born and bred, way they call it, in the rock. Today, coming back to the English players, and I must tell persons who have some big problems with them representing, so well come from. No, if you see, if a lot of us had seen the documentaries and Windrush and all of that, then you would understand what our Jamaican forebearers did when they went. As a matter of fact, my father went to England, you know, and fought with the British against it. He was an RAF man. He fought.
So what are you doing? What are you doing in Jamaica, man?
Eh?
What are you doing in Jamaica?
No, I am telling you, the first gunshot wound I saw was in I think his right foot, near to him ankle. So he fought it with the RAF, who was a fighter pilot. Tell him I'll come and make and most people have known model planes and so on and so on. So I say that they are, as you said, they are not English. You wouldn't say English, they are Jamaican, even though they're born in England. But if you go and you try use that to stifle some of our, because if you look at a lot of our players who came through our system, high school and clubs until them get a bus for America and so on and so on and so. The Andre Blakes and the Damian Lowe's and all those other you say. When you come now and say, well, then these guys are rebel, so be the case, and try to get rid of them. It's a retrograde step. So good sense I should think would prevail, and every day something else come up. For example, now we bring a lot of youths come and do couple practice matches. Only if we say we're not sure we can use them in the Gold Cup just through paperwork. No absence of passport and all of that. We say, well, then yes, they are truly Jamaicans and can represent the country. So we need to get those things, the off the field thing, to a level. So even if we have percent of them ready to play for Jamaica, no problem. Because on the success of our senior teams, then we can say to other persons, investors in the waiting, say, we have a program, help us put the program together. But a lot of people love this things style, and it's not a bandwagon mentality still. Some are bandwagon, but we say, well, then yes, we're going somewhere that they can put their quarter there.
Because a lot of people, Mr. Beckford, here's the thing. Part of the issue there with the GFF, I think, and I've heard these things, is administration. Because you'll hear people say, hold on, how come them don't have no passport yet? I mean, you're part of the, because if you're a parish president, you know, the assumption is you're a part of the executive arm of the GFF, right?
Yes.
So how are these things happening? How long if a man born in Jamaica go to the PICA office, him getting passport in 10 days? Why these players having government help, the GFF administration help? It takes them so long to process one passport.
Pastor and your listeners and your viewers, I'm going to make one thing clear again. Before this, you had spoke about being in the executive. We are part of the executive of the GFF. Make I tell you something. a lot of decisions were being made, which should have been made, and even if you make it in a committee, it comes to the board, which is I am a member. Those things are almost a thing of the past. Decisions have been made. So over in recent years where people have been hired to do certain things. We, the board, just like you, hear by the media say, yes, we hire pastor, senator as our in-house pastor and all those things. We only hear. A lot of times you don't come to us to ratify. When certain things is difficult, then you say, this decision I'll make, we want the board to ratify. So it's like a rubber stamp thing. So the think tank, which is the board, which are the heads of all of the parishes, who should have a level of football competence and a level of football administrative competence within them, are only asked to be rubber stamp. So it is not just no. And if you follow my history over the time, we don't take things, we just push down your throat and say, sign this so if we put into law. What would it do over time to enhance the football? So I hear what you're saying, and a lot of people are saying the same thing, and we are saying the same thing too. Decisions have been made. Right now, the CEO of the JFF should, in our sense and purpose, be the president himself. But if you look at it, most of the times, where the decisions coming from, right?
You tell us where the decisions are coming from.
I leave you to see. Most of the decisions are coming from the desk of the general secretary. Okay. Because he's supposed to be an employee of the federation. Right now, to me, he is the de facto chief executive officer. He is the chief executive officer.
The generals. Let me ask, what is the role of the general secretary? Because your part, I mean, maybe the role of the general secretary in the GFF is different from what the role of a general secretary is in other areas. But what is the role of the general secretary in the GFF in the administration? Do you know that role?
No, you go on our next issue again. See, the role of the general secretary, the remuneration of the general secretary, everything that is connected to the general secretary has not come to the board of the GFF to be ratified by the board of the GFF. You see, so I cannot, for the life of me, tell you exactly, as a member of the board, what are the terms and conditions of the goodly gentleman employment, because it has not come to the board. And it has come to the board, it always come to the board to be debated and then sign off, and we don't have a problem. But no, and when we ask questions, up to January, when we had our
AGM.
Yeah, the Congress. Yeah. Predetermined letters were written by us from the parish center, asking about the very same question. It wasn't answered at that board meeting. They said the next board meeting, 3 months time in April, we would get the details of everything. At the April meeting, not one word was discussed on the general secretary thing. So that is where we are at. The general secretary is acting, and we don't know. From my side, don't be the rest of them. We don't even know. Because right now, you remember the policeman who worked as a policeman for years and he wasn't a policeman. To me, it's the very same thing. You're working at the general secretary and not even rubber stamp by us to say yes. We do it from my side, we don't even know what his remuneration is, what the contractual arrangements are. So that is where we are at, and it pains me to tell you and the media what is happening now. But we have been hijacked by people who are just the basic thing is the politics of the thing and nothing else. No development, them in the football, but not for the football.
Okay, all right. So I have a couple of questions that are from the persons, but I want to ask you this. So you don't know what the role of the general secretary was. The general secretary voted into position, or was he appointed by or is it a voted position, or is it a appointment based on appointment? Like he's appointed as. How does one become the general secretary? Is it a part of the electoral process for the GFF?
You're breaking up, but not to belabor the point. As I said, there's a protocol to and a system to follow. It wasn't followed. So, as I said, it is the prerogative of the president of the JFF to nominate a general secretary.
Oh, okay.
And then with all the terms and conditions, it comes to the board, especially the general secretary would be the head of the secretariat for the JFF that carries out the day-to-day runnings and whatever. And the good gentleman should be an employee of us. So you would come to the board, all of the terms and conditions and the remuneration and all of that would be spelled out. And then some of us would say, tweak that, or some of us say, yes, delete that, and somebody say, add this, and then we sign off and say, 13 of us, 9, 7, 8 say, all right, yes, we go for Pastor Stennett, we sign off on it, the dual gentleman start work. That wasn't done.
Not done. Okay. It was directly the president's appointment.
It wasn't done. And
okay.
we're asking, we keep on asking the questions, and what we find out now is that we're getting run around.
Stonewall.
To put it mildly, run around, because we're not hearing. But we're going ahead, and the good gentleman going ahead and taking serious decisions on behalf of the football. And I must say, decisions are being taken, and the board has nothing whatsoever to do with it. A lot of decisions are, the only thing we know is that they want us to ratify certain things in terms of even my expenditure for the certain thing and whatever, what protocol dictates. So that is where we are at. And that is why, to me, as I said, the biggest investors we have is the rank and file people, the spectators, the supporters who comes to the third side. A lot of people right now are turned off by a lot of things being done at the GFF level. And every one of us, including myself, are getting the we don't call the shit end of the stick to say, well then, all of us in this thing together. It's not all of us in this, some of the bad decisions, because decisions being made. Some of the bad decisions are some of the unworkable decisions. Not all of us agree with it. Good, but a lot of the times, even if you have 13 people and 7 say the decision is bad, but the 7 majority say we will go with it. The other 6 have to sit down and keep themselves quiet.
All right. Quickly take this one on the screen. It says, do you believe the alignment of board members of the JFF with local football club is a conflict of interest and hampers the ability to make neutral decisions?
Please, say that again. Ask that again. Who?
Do you believe the alignment of board members of the JFF with local football club is a conflict of interest and hampers their ability to make neutral decisions? I think this is probably looking at the appointment of, I'm assuming, but let me give you an example that someone could refer to the Rudolph Speed issue, where he's in a particular position but still aligned to Cavaliers. Could that be a conflict of interest and hampers the ability to make?
Not to belabor the point, that issue was brought to the JFF board meeting, and in no uncertain terms, we tell them, and just highlight a couple things to say, well then, that is a big conflict of interest where specifically with Mr. Speed's appointment is concerned, a big conflict of interest, and it going to cause us problems down the line. One of the goodly gentlemen said, well then, almost everybody on the board is conflicted in terms of all football run and whatever. I say, yeah, well, you have a sensitive issue like the technical committee,
yeah,
and where technical matters are concerned. So we don't put up my hand and say there's a big conflict of interest where that appointment is concerned. So we leave it at that.
Okay. All right. And here's why they asked that question, because it says the section 23L of the FIFA laws for governing football state that the members of a local body decision should be free from the conflict of interest. And so it is in relation to that we're asking the previous questions as to, but you said that you have stated clear that there is a conflict of interest, but it wasn't something that you had a choice because it was ratified and for you to basically rubber stamp.
On that issue, if I get you clearly, that is why our statutes were comprehensively redone. With even the help of FIFA came here one at the time to put our statutes on a level more compatible with FIFA. Because one of the big problems with FIFA was the 13 voting thing, which FIFA point blank tell you it doesn't encompass the whole stakeholdership of the rank and file who are involved in football to vote with the thing. So thankfully, even that score, we're moving it from 13 to maybe 71.
Yeah.
Delegates can vote, whatever. So the revamped statutes are supposed to be presently at FIFA to FIFA sign off and come back to us. We have a meeting, a general meeting, a Congress, and ratify it and then put it into law. Because clearly, and I must tell you again, I was personally against this coming down to 13. Right? When I say only 13 parishes go and vote. So
Right. That was
when
a
people
change
like
by Captain
referees,
Burrell, right? That
eh?
was a change. That was a change made by Captain Burrell.
Yes, in his administration.
In his
In his
administration. Yeah.
administration. And I said that to say this. You know, say, might be news to a lot. The big man himself wasn't even so enthusiastic to say, well, then, 30, make it come down to 13, because it will be easier, yes, for him. But him never knew it because him telling himself from day one, say, the amount of people, no care how much amount of people, what he has done, his track record speaks for itself and people would gravitate to him. That sort of thinking did never hold up in a 2003 when he was gone. But I said that to say this now, it was done in his administration. And good sense will prevail for no so well then. We cannot just allow, because referees usually vote, ISA usually vote, and coming down to 13, we get rid of all of those serious stakeholders, because ISA is a serious stakeholder in a football. Refereeing is serious stakeholder in football. Right? And thankfully them putting them back on the list at the 71%, so on and so on. So there's still some gray areas in terms of, because the professional arm of the football, which resides in the Premier League, because most of the Premier League teams are semi-professional. So the professional arm would be the Premier League and so on. So, a percentage of the delegates for voting rests with the professional arm. So one school of thought is that if it's 12 teams, each team have a vote and that sort of thing. And
Okay.
one next school of thought say, well then the whole PFLJ now would as the body have the percentage of professional votes and all of that thing. So I think that is to me one of the big gray areas. But thankfully, I say it moving back from the 13 going to hopefully the 71, what them say. And if and when a Congress comes, we have
Yeah.
71 people to
All
vote
right.
for Danny Beckford
Yeah.
or woman Senate or whatever it is.
And let me read a couple of these, because this person, I think that the national team should not be to be developed players. The national team, like players should not be developed at the national team level, and that the best player should always be selected. This person says the present GFF secretary, present general secretary GFF needs to be removed immediately. If someone can say reaching the world is not important, development of players are so important that they say something about our football. What about the fans? Don't they have a say? And not understanding that clearly. But let me say this, Mr. Beckford, because I think what a lot of persons are concerned with is that normally anyone who is involved in the administration of the football somehow is aligned to a local club. All right, that's a notion. Is there anything in the constitution of the GFF for a group of persons not connected? Maybe they are businessmen and they are, but they love football. They don't own a club, but they probably go to football games. Could they just come up and say, we have a body, we have a group, and we want to run for the presidency of the JFF? Or is it that you have to be an affiliate of the JFF to be able to
Yeah,
run?
man. And,
What?
and that therein lies where you say there are pitfalls where that is concerned. You have to be an affiliate at the GFF somewhere along the line involving football. Because clearly, if that wasn't the case, a set of persons could play politics big time and just take over the thing. But as I said, thankfully, for years we have people involved in the football who are stand advocate football development and so on. There are a significant amount of us in that thing. So what you say is very, very important. And in the country, and I must add again, in the constitution or the statutes of the JFF, a lot of the statutes right now have been broken in terms of what the ruling say. Whole heap of it have been not being followed, right? And this revamping of the statutes would put a lot of the things. For example, one at the time, even when it comes down to the 13 votes, because some people have it to say is the presidents should vote for the parish. And FIFA says you can't vote for yourself. The presidents are there because the parishes put them there. So if the president voting is in relation to voting for. So if I was the one casting the vote, I would cast the vote on behalf of St. Anne. In any time we voting in the 13 is one of our executives vote on behalf of St. Anne, not me myself per se. So a lot of the things is not being followed. Well, and FIFA knows still, and I can tell you, So, but at the end of the day, the revamping of the thing, and we should hope by any time soon we could get the revamped statutes and debate it again to say, well, then all of the T's crossed, all of the I's dots, and so on so. But in any organizational thing, you have people who exploit the system for their own selfish ends. It happened in 2003 when they voted out Captain Burrell. And by 2007, a lot of the very same people who voted for the experiment of Queensland Boxhill came back on board and voted back Captain in. So, as I said, we need, to me, the biggest, you're in football, the biggest priority of what you should have is the development of your own little space. So even back to you personally now, you have done wonders for your little space with Priory, and everybody knows that. And where Priory come from to where them reach now, See, Ansel Shelley, Joggy Zook died last week, a week before last. He was instrumental in the Volvo thing, and Volvo over the years has maintained that thing. I must give thanks for Shane Miller, Gardi, as I say, who for the last couple of years, Volvo has won I went to three in the last 6 years of Premier League playoffs, even though they never go to the Premier League. So we need the developmental aspects to be born, and to continue to grow. And anybody who coming into any football administrative slot must have that as the number one priority. Once you have that, the proverbial sky is the limit for growth.
All right, so we're going to take a few more. He says, Mr. Beckford, and the current JFF organizational setup, they list the general secretary as the head of several departments. According to the setup.
I must stop it there. You're hearing me clearly?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you clearly.
You're hearing me clearly?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're breaking up some of the time. Some of the time, you're not what
yeah.
Maybe the gremlins in the system. I try do something.
All right, let's see. We can. You seeing the question on the screen?
Eh?
Are you seeing the question on the screen? Put on your
question.
Glasses. Yeah, there's a question right in front of you. I want you to read that question and answer it. Read it and answer it.
Ah.
So I said, Mr. Beckford, on the current JFF organizational setup, they list the general secretary as the head of several departments. According to the setup, there should be a head of finance, marketing, education.
All right. There's a head of finance, there's a head of marketing, there's a head of education. And I must tell you, in the present JFF setup, certain things are constitutionally correct in certain. So we have
Dennis Chung.
The heads are why the three departments we have that, and we have heads of a number of the committees. So the legal committee, the other committees, we have that one certain level, which I must say that is very good from our standpoint. But at the end of the day, I must say a lot of things have been sidetracked. I must say sidetracked because the last line of acceptance for a lot of decisions that have been made is the board of directors. And a lot of times we see things put into being, activated, and the board of directors are just mere spectators and the last to know, not even know the process goes. So heads of department, we have heads of department for most of those committees we deal with finance and what you just said and thing. But alluding to this thing, most of the people, including myself and maybe yourself, so most of the decision making and most of the we don't call it now, the public relation aspect of it comes through the general secretary, like is him making a lot of the decisions when it should not be
Okay.
so.
Okay. All right. So look at this one. This one says the chairman of Montego Bay United is a vice president of the JFF. This is a conflict of interest.
The chairman of who is the chairman of Montego Bay United?
I don't know. I suspect this is speaking to because the vice president is Bruce Gaynor. I don't know that
In
he is.
but and not
I don't know, so
and that
I
wouldn't
can't.
be and that would not be in a broad sense of term a conflict of interest because you might have persons who are affiliated with a club that is a vice president or even the president himself. But once you are nominated and activated as a president or a vice president, you have to relinquish the role of the chairman of Mobile or in
Whatever.
even Mr.
Yeah.
Wynn's case. Even in Mr. Wynn's case, he was the president of Manchester and he had to give up that role. So I would think Bruce Gaynor, if he was the chairman of Montego Bay, because I know it was Harville Powell was the chairman. So if Mr. Gaynor had some role in Mobile, it had to be relinquished to take up the vice president role.
Yeah. All right. So this is I have two more here and then we can see. I have this one, then I have one from Tennessee, Louis. Too many clubs are in Jamaica, so the talent is spread thin. This is one of the factors affecting. And I agree with this. I think like St. Anne should not have like just parish by parish. Jamaica don't have the population or the footballing population to have more than 60 proper clubs running.
Whose opinion is that? Yours?
No, but I'm reading the comment. That's my, yeah. All right, my opinion. We can't have 1,000
All right.
clubs
I see a
operating
question
effectively.
here.
Yeah.
I see a question here, or I must temper the question. Meaning say, give an example. England. England has the professional arm, which is EPL and then
Championship,
championship
League
and
One,
then
League Two,
yeah, right.
conference.
When you
Right.
reach certain level, you know, it is basically amateur. Meaning say you have cobblers and you have masons and you have people who play recreational football at an amateur level. So we temper the thing, especially in this parish, we temper the thing where to professional level as much as possible is our major league. Our developmental league is the Division One. So when I say the Division One will have more, the major league has a set amount, but the Division One may have more because make I tell you something. You have, and that is part of the whole marketing strategy in Center. You have communities. For some reason, when the resources are not there, they are dormant. When the resources come in, they apply for the Division One thing. Because a lot of the communities may even come to the major league. And maybe 1 or 2 years they are there, and then lack of the resources, them gone again. So I said that we say this when people say too many clubs are in Jamaica, we have to temper that statement because what is the some of the clubs for and what some of the clubs really are. So when you reach a major league in St. Anne, for example, we start to try to treat it as a semi-professional thing to say, to prepare them for the eventuality of professionalism. Because they're going to tell us they're going to need the major league going to need more resources to stay there and to go further. So when you go, just like a Mount Pleasant, where graduated to Super League and then graduated to Premier League, and they have the resources to maintain them status. And even now, yeah, so them is favorite for the league coming up. That is relative as you speak. But to say, I would agree to a sense, yes, you have too many clubs because, for example, you have a community and two clubs want to come out of the community. It happened in our parish all the while, and I said to the good gentleman, only one club can come out of it, so get the two of you get together. And some of the times they do, some of the times they don't, but it's we in our wisdom to say, well then, no, we can't take two from a small community for so and so. But when you have one school of thought, especially in Central again, so we need a next Premier League side in the thing. We don't need it, but if it occurs, say Lima Academy go again a Premier League playoff and finally goes to Premier League, then we have two teams. But it's not a necessity that we need to have the two teams.
Yeah, but what I'll say though is the comparison with England, and somebody just said it, is that the population in England is so massive compared to Jamaica that it is, and it's also a footballing culture in England. And so I think because of the population size, they can do with all of those clubs. I think our population is so small that, like the person said, the talent is actually spread very, very thin when we have so many clubs. This one says right here, look at the screen again. Look at the screen, Mr. Beckford, and just read out the question if you're hearing me. So it says, do you believe reaching the World Cup is not important, or the development of players are more important? Because I'm a fan and I believe reaching the World Cup should be our main objective. So I think the person, I hope I get this, he's saying that, which is more important?
Yeah, man.
Reaching the World Cup are developing players?
Yeah, well, to me, and as the person said, them see reaching the World Cup should be our main priority. Yeah, if you reach the World Cup as your main priority, don't have a problem, you know. But if it is at the expense of developing the football on the social level, I would say no. So what we did in '98, you know, that is the best time we marry both the development and for reach there. Good. So if no, we're going to say the main priority is to reach World Cup at the expense of everything else. No, can't be.
Yeah. All right, let me give you a next one. So you're saying that there must be a balance because with the 98 campaign,
balance, man.
After that we are the under 17 going to.
If we can reach World Cup every year, you know, and the development, and when we reach World Cup, that reaching the World Cup fuels the developmental aspect, you know, man. We reach World Cup every year. But what we do in 2015 Gold Cup, for example, we had a foreign coach and mostly foreign-based players, and we reached the final. The next 2 years in 2017, we had a local coach with mostly local-based players, and we reached the final. Again, with quarter less, 3/4 less of the resources than we had in 2015 that we spent. So that is one of the examples I tell us, if we balance the thing properly and we're reaching there and we have it's strong in our country, kudos to everybody who put it together.
I think what a lot of people forget.
I believe the GFF needs to employ a few younger individuals to take advantage of the current trends.
Yeah.
A few younger individuals for what? In terms of administration?
Well, I don't know. Also, I can't.
I reply to your question that you put up there.
Yeah, man. I don't know. The person just sent a question. So I think it's administration, administratively. Persons in the administration.
On a personal level, if a young person like yourself takes over the runnings of the center football and be president, you would have to grow into the whole thing to even reach a level of where we continually put it. So just to bring in, just because you're younger, I would go for experienced administrator, whether you're young, middle age, or
Okay. All right. So
I
so
see,
so
I see
yeah. Let
Uruguay with
me
a population of 3 million has 42 clubs, 42 professional clubs.
Okay, so you're saying that there may be more clubs at an amateur level, but it's 42 professional clubs. Understood. Understood.
42 professional clubs.
But you could have
Anytime you see a
okay.
statistics we say a country has clubs, is really professional. As it stands now, Jamaica has, call it 12
Professional
quote
clubs.
unquote professional clubs.
Okay, I see
There's
what you
only
mean. So
12 clubs we have, that are
okay,
professional.
okay, and all the others are amateur. And you can have as many amateur
Everything
clubs.
else
Okay.
is amateur and recreational.
Okay,
So when
okay.
you
So
temper the thing, Uruguay has a population of 3 million and has 42 clubs. Mexico has whole heap of professional clubs, but whole heap of amateur clubs too, because as I say, um, a lot of most of the when I saw statistics, 95% of the football played in the world entire world is amateur football. Then you will get a sense of what I'm saying. And next question, I see economic wise, it's not feasible for a club to be financially stable with a fan base of 1,500. Example, Monines United. This is why so many of the clubs go bankrupt. And a good thing you bring up this thing now. See, 6 or 7 of the clubs right now in the Premier League reside in Casafa. So there is a real battle for the
money.
spoils, the resources.
Yes, sir.
If you remember, Arnett Gardens one year when they won the Premier League, Arnett Gardens was in dire straits economically. And Arnett Gardens asked and petitioned us down here in Centre if we can give them a couple matches. Because we go out and a lemon do our marketing proper. So and then they given day you have a D1 match and Jackson will be half full. Because we market the thing. And we acceded to Arnett Gardens request. Arnett came and played and them won the match too. And Arnett was in the red the day before the match. After the match, the day after, they were in the black. Could pay off a lot of them debt. And then they went on to win the Premier League. Boystown, when they were in the Premier League, went all the way to St. Elizabeth. So if you check the contents of the Premier League right now, it's maybe only about 4 or 5 parishes represented in the Premier League. So all of those economic base in the other parishes are dormant and not being used in the Premier League. So economics wise, it's not feasible for a club. I agree with you. And you say if Mullines have a base of 1,500, and you made an example of Mullines, because we had 7 clubs out of Casafa, and it's the resources in that conference, even though it's a metropolitan, Kingston and St. Andrew, it's limited. So a lot of the Kingston clubs them would always struggle. It's the smaller Kingston clubs. So one
So
Kingston club will come out today and go back down. But you have the big stars always there. So if we can spread the Premier League more, and so other parishes qualify for the Premier League, the more resources would come into the thing.
so you're saying
And I
that if
just give you some
yeah,
examples. Say
yeah man.
Premier League clubs went to St. Elizabeth or Centre
Yeah.
or wherever.
Yeah, so like if a Mullines were to play one of their games, say in a Hanover one Sunday, you're saying that they could generate a whole lot more income.
I'm not sure about Hanover, but that's an
So,
example in the whole thing. But as I say, Boystown did it. Even Rivali one at the time came to Jackson a couple of times and made a substantial more than what they would have made at them yard. So I just said that we say this economically, and if you check again, schoolboy football, so many parishes are represented at schoolboy football level, and a lot of people come out and bring in a lot of resources into schoolboy football, which is not generated at the Premier League level, simply because Premier League is not being played in maybe 6 or 7 or 8 parishes. But schoolboy football is being played in every parish.
you want
And
to hear
every
my
parish have them.
you want to hear one of my proposal, and then I'll let you take one of the. Here's my proposal. Every parish, there needs to be a farmer trade. You keep what you have now, but the parishes that don't have a Premier League team, each parish be given one. So Hanover, Trelawney, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Portland, St. Thomas, St. Mary. We're going to put teams there. So that's 8 more to the 12 now. And you have 20. Did I skip out any? 8 more. So we have 20. And then what you do, you have a way where parishes get to qualify. So you always have representation right across Jamaica. That's part of the way I think. So because you have 14 parishes, there must be a way, a pathway to at least start the league in such a way that the parishes are involved. If they get relegated, it's one thing, but they have to be like we need to relaunch the Premier League, increase the amount of teams, but parishes must get spaces. And then how you come up in the league, all the parishes must be represented at also at the second tier of your whole thing, and at the third tier of your football. That way, like I can't ever remember a Hanover team being in the Premier League.
Can I say to you?
Yeah.
Can I say to you the same thing when you speak about representation?
You have to flip the camera around. You turn it sideways.
I'm not sure what happened. It's the sideways, but I'm not sure what's happening here.
There you go. That's better. Yeah. That's better, man. You're all right now.
All right. So
you're reading the question.
I read the question, but
Yeah, I think you need to answer my one first, and then you come to this one. But the amount of the teams in the parish, you come to this question.
yeah, I read this question, yeah, and it says, well, every sponsor wants their brand to be associated with a successful product. What is the view of the comments made by Mr. Smith that qualification for the World Cup is not a priority? I never heard the comment in relation to what he was saying, but it may be something akin to what he's saying, that the qualification for the World Cup is not the priority. It is a priority and a very important priority. But the main priority from my standpoint is to get back the football in as much as the country as possible up and running. Right now, what this present GFF is doing, them gone out on the limb already. So the priority and most of the resources has been put into World Cup qualification. Good? And if it is at the expense of a lot of other things, and maybe Mr. Speed up knows something that I don't, then to me, if you fall short, then everything crash.
Right. So let me explain this here. I think I understand what you're saying. It is the priority, but it should not be the priority at the expense of development.
Of everything. That's exactly.
Everything
I hope now.
Yeah.
Right. So
if
people listening would
don't, right. So if you don't qualify, what happens is that your program is set back. So what must happen is what happened.
Every time we fail to qualify at any level, then you know say is a big moan and groan.
Yeah.
So with the advent of the Polipa, with the influx of a lot of English baller now, the expectation arise say, well, this team put together properly can go a far way and even qualify. Good, because I have some people already. I say we qualify already with the names, but name no play football is on the day you go out there and play. So with the whole aspect of getting the passports and the documentation that we can have these players and then getting them to gel and then put them in a tournament and even using the Gold Cup now we're coming up as a sort of we don't call it feeder thing to see where we at. The seriousness of the World Cup qualification going to start later on down in the year. So sponsors want their brand to be associated with success, and I agree. But sponsorship, that's why I talk about investor. Right? Somebody who sponsors something and say, well then, them want so and so. I don't have a problem. But here lies the thing now. a lot of the members of the board last year when we were asked to vote on abandoning the football. Here with the problem, and it ties into what the question asks. A lot of the parishes never start them league, the major league, or the main league, and a lot of the parishes, some of the same parishes who never start in a league, don't have a sponsor. So when they voted for abandon football, and if we vote abandon football and for them parish, is in the parishes that had started. And I mention of Senton who had started the major league and even Kasafa who had started. So at the end of the day, and we had sponsorship because we had a $4 million sponsorship, $2 million a year from Chemtech. So all of that now was abandoned. And I said that we said this, there are some parishes that are more equal than others. And you have some sponsors who are more equal than others, in meaning say the priority is not sponsoring a successful brand per se as sponsoring the football to continue the whole growth and development.
Yeah. But what I'll say though, Mr. Beckford, is that if I remember quite well, part of the success of the 1998 campaign was qualifying for the Senior World Cup. But because the development aspect of the football was also in place, the under 17 team qualified shortly after that. The under 20 team qualified shortly after that. So there was,
right,
along with the qualification, there was development, which is what you're saying. One should not be at the expense of the other. Both has to go hand in hand, because if you're if you're not developing,
and I must say no. Yeah, but and it's, I have to stop, And right in the middle of that, was a Danny Beckford, and I'm going to tell you why. We went to Atlanta in '96 with the under 17 team at the time. Good? And Jackie Walters was the coach. And out of that tour, we came back, and me and Mr. Walters and Liebert Halleman work on a comprehensive program. And the comprehensive program development was to go into each parish and see the best talents in the parish. And we pick parish teams. And then from the parish teams, we pick Confed teams. And from the Confed teams, we pick National Under 17. So from '96, and Mr. Walters and Mr. Alleman just come and send on 1 or 2 times, or 4 or 5 times, See me do the parishes, And you document who and who were the top players. So at the end of the day, '99, Jackie Walters and his team, and what we did, we qualified for Under 17 World Cup. And then 2001, when the Under 17 graduated to Under 20, we qualified for the Under 20. And then politics started to take over the thing, where Captain Burrell was voted out in 2003. And we never go back to our World Cup till 2012 with the Under 17, where Downswell almost replicated what Jackie Walters had done almost years before, and go to the parishes and see the thing. So being a firm believer in development and seeing the best talents in all of the parishes. Because you have a youth now who's a player in Portland. What's name again? I forget. Anyway, so I said that we said this. The development, the Premier League in that time, refereeing in that time, the quality of refereeing brought us to the World Cup. And I'm going to explain to you. For about 10 years, no Kingston team won Premier League. Because the refereeing brought out the best. And it was again, say, you had referees we normally come from Kingston, go do a Mobile. So you have a Waterhouse, go down a Mobile, go play Violet Kickers. You had a team of Kingston referees. You had competent referees now. Clive Wright, Victor Stewart, Raymond Pine, Hugh Gill Thompson, Danny Beckford, senior referees who went out and we qualified for the World Cup. And I said for 10 years, no Kingston team. If it wasn't Reno,
what are the Seba? Yeah.
Wadada, Seba, Reno. See, because we brought out the best in the football. And I say the whole development and that time the Premier League was strong. Because just check on the players who will play Premier League. Shorty Malcolm, Blacker Boyd, The whole of we know the thing. So development has to be married to World Cup campaign or Gold Cup campaign or every other campaign. If we go and go down the route where over time we go and get the ready-made ballers in England to at the expense, it cannot be at the expense of the local ballers who make it overseas. Then we know so we're in a problem, and we have to have that balance there. So number one priority for me, and you know in my parish, development. That's why we couldn't develop a Jody, bro, or a Lacey Murray. When Jody was supposed to go away, the first time she go to camp in America, and I said to the coach at the time, which was Menzies, said, yeah, man, you have a Lacey Murray too. Menzies wrote back to me and said Lacey Murray wasn't good. And steam come through me ears. And look what Lacey in tandem with Jody did in the last under 20 campaign, where we even first time we beat Canada. And as far as me concerned, when we played Dominican Republic, we were more concentrating on the next match we should have played with America, and never concentrate against Dominican Republic on the day, and we lost out. So I say development is it. Development is it. Development is it. Even at the expense, we don't prefer have development at the expense of the World Cup than the World Cup campaign at the expense of development.
All right. I hope that is understood, because I know people can misconstrue, because we want to play in the World Cup. And
anybody misconstrue, but that is what we say.
So here's the thing: the truth is that if you because a World Cup campaign does not mean that you're going to qualify, and I think that is what that is why some people are missing out on. If you take all of the national football resources, put it in the campaign, and you don't qualify, then what happens to football at the grassroots level? So the objective must be, listen, if we qualify for the World Cup, it going to aid with the development. And if we are developing, it is going to aid with the qualification. So both things must go together.
Yes, sir.
Because
so when we qualified for the Senior Men's World Cup in 98, 99 we qualified for the under 17, 2001 we qualified for the under 20. You never want nothing better than that. And we never qualify the next one until 2012 with the under 17, and never qualify the next one till 2018, 19 with our beloved reggae girls.
Yeah, man, and I think let me say it again, because let me just respond to this. And I think that's what I'm saying. Nobody, Mr. Beckford, is not saying that we don't want to go to the World Cup and we don't want to qualify. That is not it. What the argument is that if all your resources are put in a campaign, because going into a campaign doesn't mean you will qualify. We have not qualified in over 20 years, and all our resources have been pumped into qualifying for World Cup instead of spend some of that money into developing the football. We do know that resources will come. And when the resources come, they go aid with the development. So both things must go together. Both things have to go together.
Right. No, what you're saying is being on the same page with myself. But just see a question come up now. We say, for development to happen, we need money. I must tell this viewer, very good question you're asking, is that as it stands now, development monies is being, this administration has gotten the most development money to help with certain aspects of the football. Good? So,
no, man, don't focus on this question.
Resources are coming in, you know. Resources are coming in. Most of the resources coming out for development comes from either CONCACAF and FIFA. I must tell you again, going back to history, between 1994 and 1998, when we qualified, Jamaica garnered over $860 million at the gates and sponsorship and whatever. One of my biggest concern now is that this present administration, for whatever it is, cannot garner this support to get resources from so-and-so. We form a new company, JFPL, and the person heading it, Mr. Williams, with his reputation, right after the real, couple sponsors come on board, and we garner, as a matter of fact, 3 sponsors from Senton, which include Mount Pleasant, and Chemtech, our major league sponsors, and Conserve it, electrical people who do work over Chemtech thing, have pledged 10 million each to the Premier League. So I said that for say this, resources are here, they are not being utilized. When we say not being utilized, and come back to the thing where over 8 parishes not playing Premier League. See? So yes, winning the World Cup, going to World Cup will bring in at least 5 million US, what the person said. I'm not sure where him get thing from. But a significant portion of getting to the World Cup and getting will go as bonuses to the players and people who are involved and so on. So when that comes in, and I'm gonna say it was done in '98 where we qualified. So put the two together. If what you are saying and what this person is alluding to, what you're saying now is if we put most of the resources into qualifying and we do not qualify, where would that leave us?
Yeah.
Mr. Nakti or what it is. If we don't qualify, where would that lead us? Qualifying, yes, everybody loves a winner. Everybody loves, and the bandwagon would come and we get more resources. But if we do not qualify as they happen over the last 4 cycles or 5 cycles for World Cup qualification, what will happen?
Yeah, we have 4 minutes to go because I know you're a busy man and you're gone past the one or you promised me. So let me just take these. We have 4 minutes to go. I hope you're hearing me. So let me just go through these quickly. As I mean, some of them you don't have to comment, but this one says we have no resources, right? We are 60 million in debt. I think we are way more than 60 million in debt. I think we are over $200 million in debt.
60 million in terms of what?
In debt. They were saying
no. If it's 60 million Jamaican, Mr. Nakti, it is not 60 million. It is close to 230 something.
Yeah.
The question is now, the question is, as he's saying, what was done with the money? Let me qualify that.
That is the 800 and something $million from between 90. That was from the 800 and odd $million you spoke about leading up to the 1998 campaign. Yeah. What was done with all of that money?
Yeah, man. And let me say, you say it again. We qualified for the resources was put into the under 17 we qualify 99. Resources was put into the under 20 we qualify 2001. So a lot of those monies went in with the same 98 qualification. A lot of those monies went in back to the thing. But what it did was that we garnered those and we could write it down to say we collected those and from sponsors. Good. And so the question now was done with the money. If we're talking about recently or near recently, a lot of the debt that we have incurred, significant percentage of it is for penalties for statutory deductions. Just the penalties alone for statutory deductions put us in millions of dollars in the red. Meaning if your statutory deductions are not being paid or them late, there is significant penalties for that. And that was add to right after the wheel today, and the debt and the penalties come due tomorrow. By the next day, it shows on the debt say the government have it on the books. Thankfully, again, we're trying to get tax write-offs for those, and even the government has admitted say a lot of the penalties is forget uncollectible. Good. So at the end of the day, as I say, and to Mr. Nakti, serious question, we need to put the development and the thing together. So you see, we qualify for World Cup tomorrow and the development process is in full swing. This, I may say, the proverbial sky is the limit to move forward. But the forward thinking people in the organization, some of the times we get shafted because it's the political aspect of the man them who did it, who more or less the main priority is the politics of the thing, and the glamour and the glitter for travel go here and travel go there and live in first class hotels and so on. So, but the grassroots part of it, well, even pastor himself know, you come out and the kids are there. You have to have refreshment for them, fear for them, gear for them, training, that sort of thing, and whatever. So if you split the thing and know, so well then 75% then goes to preparation for World Cup and 25% development. So be it. But as I say, even if we do 60% for World Cup qualifying and 40 for development, and we do not qualify, at least we know say with development and program will continue.
You have 30 seconds to take them question here, because we're out of time. So here's the first one. At this stage where we are at with the Gold Cup and World Cup, we have to use the UK.
I just say Mr. Gray.
Yeah, man, I soon put it up, but just take this one quickly. Just 30 seconds. Anything you have to say?
Remove from Mr. Gray. Mr. Gray said something about most people don't trust the GFF.
Yeah,
this current GFF.
Yes.
And therein lies, nobody trusts the current GFF. And therein lies one of the problems, because if, and it's a big if tomorrow this administration can get 60-70% of our main investors, this is the rank and file people who come through the turnstile, because everybody asking questions. Watch when the World Cup qualifiers come, how the games will be supported, and then you will understand what I'm saying. If most people come with the trust issue and don't come at the games, then we may, when I say lose out, spend more than what we earn. Now, if the people come and fill the stadium to a 90%, we know, say, well, then at least we're going in the black and we can use some of what we get over for when we go out. Good. But the trust issue is very important. The trust issue is very important. A lot of people trust me. That's why me get a lot of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars has been spent in this parish over the last 4 years. Majority it is from Mount Pleasant, but we have other people who come in for do so and so and so. And the minister herself, Babsy Grace, has said she has seen one of the best public sector, private sector partnership right there at Jackson between Mount Pleasant and the Center and FA, which would represent the government along.
Yeah, man, Mr. Beckford, so
the trust issue is very important, Mr. Green.
Yeah, man, this is somebody, Neo Sovereign says, thanks for speaking to the public. Thanks for your stalwart service to Jamaica's football. You have walked the walk. So, yeah, man.
Thank you very much, sir. And whether I sir or madam. And the thing about it is this. The trust issue is a lot of people over the years, and I'm going to say it now. When I say blow a trumpet, with the stance that we have taken, being in the administration, but standing up for certain things, where we know point blank say is not feasible or is not fruitful or is not wise. And the GFF go in that route and we stand up and say, no, that is foolishness. A lot of people. So what he says, thanks for your stalwart service to Jamaica football. And we continue to because we walk in the walk. So we producing whole heap of players. We produce, if you come at Jackson, no. I just say a lot of fees are in ruin it right now. Come at Jackson and see where we are. Even the whole field now is being used. Because that's why we can say Mount Pleasant say, well, it's better field to train and the whole field. So we're utilizing everything. And right now, the preparation for the Premier League, the truncated is in full swing. And our beloved Mount Pleasant, we hope them do us proud in this upcoming competition.
Yeah, man. See, someone else say respect Mr. Beckford for your time. And then they said,
Mr. Nakti. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And for your, that should have been, and for your honesty.
You know, Mr. Nakti and Pastor and the listeners and the viewers, honesty is the best of policies. So when we are honest in everything that you, Pastor, know, we honest with everything in a football, in a center, and that's why a lot of people respect. If we get put it for a state of speed. If we get the opportunity tomorrow at the highest level to contribute to GFF within 3 years, just because we know what to do, we know what to do, and it's not a saying we're talking, forget, right?
Yeah, man.
We know what to do, forget, because we can go to people. So when you hire somebody for the PRO, fine, but the best PRO is the football talk. So when people come at Senton, for example, and see what we're doing, and see what we have achieved. And some of the people, you know, bad mind is a wicked thing still. You know? A lot of people bad mind.
We're not going to touch the bad mind right now because that's the next program for our next time. But and see Patrick from.
Come on, give thanks, Mr. Riley. Long time we're there, we still a fight feed.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. All right, Mr. Beckford, listen, thanks for your time. It was really fruitful, important information. I mean, really appreciate it because I know you're very busy. Respect to all the persons in the comment section who really got engaged in this. Really appreciate it. Again, just remember, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that right now. Tell somebody about us and let's keep the work going. The best we can do out there is to, as stakeholders in the football, is to use the avenues we have to let our voices be heard so that others can know and keep those in charge of our football accountable. You understand me? We don't have to block the street. We can let our voices be heard, express our frustrations, suggest our solutions, and see how we can move football forward, not just in St. Anne, but right across Jamaica. So keep up the
Right
good work,
across,
Mr.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Keep up
True,
the good
man.
work,
Can
Mr.
I say,
Beckford. Go ahead.
and to all of the listeners and whatever, the football is not just football per se. You see what the football has done to the social fabric of Jamaica, good? And you see what the absence of football over the last year and a half has caused, good? Football has gone to St. Thomas and charged with murder. Footballers in a lot of them, because here the stress come now. When football is on good swing, ballers can help the family, the baby mother, the extended family, and the resources coming at the footballers' hands, executive, referees, everything. With the almost cut off a certain thing. Frustration increase, mental illness increase, mental instability increase. So we need back the whole thing, and the football and the athletics and certain other things can bring it back. But sport in general and football in particular can do. And as I say, if I campaign, we campaign. If we get tomorrow the rains are the thing, you will see the difference within a year, and then you will see the results within a term of 3 years. Because we know what to do. We have tried and proven it already. So the people, you people, who are the biggest investors in football, who buy the result, all marketing we not start yet, merchandising we not start yet, all them things they can bring in resources, So you sell a shirt with pastor Senate on the back and come and knows a pastor Senate that. And that's how we advertise we think. And the more we succeed, and the more we have success, the more we can plow in back to the whole development and thing. So we go further, the further we go in the World Cup qualification, put the aspects of development in place right away. So we go to the second round, we put certain thing in place. We not left out one without the other.
Yeah, man. All right. Well said, Mr. Beckford. Again, thank you so much.
And thank you for having me, sir.
Anytime, man, we have to do this again. You understand me? When Mount Pleasant play the first match, we have to do some review of the football and all of that. But thanks again for your time.
Yeah, man. Even on that score, But the big boss of hope is that we're coming at the top two of Premier League. So a CONCACAF go dominate again. And when you dominate CONCACAF and go a World Club Championship, because that is where the man want, Mr. Gold want. Mount Pleasant represent CONCACAF in a World Club Championship against the likes of whoever win, whether Liverpool or wherever, and the South American Giants. That is where we want to go.
I'm glad you chose to call. I'm glad you chose to call Liverpool and not your Manchester United side, though. You're a wise man.
All right, Pastor. Thanks.
All right, yeah, man. Thanks you again, Mr. Beckford. All right, so there you have it, people. Mr. Danny Beckford, president of the St. Anne Football Association. Again, thank everyone so much for tuning in. I mean, we have gone 1 hour and 38 minutes, and so we really appreciate it. Again, go to the channel, man. Like, subscribe, share the video. Let someone know that he was on. Let them know what he was talking about, because there's so many different views about the football. But if we collectively work together, put them together, we can find a solution to the footballing problem in Jamaica. So we can lift the World Cup, we can go to the World Cup, we can lift the Gold Cup, and at the same time, develop our local players. Again, thank you so much for your time. This is I Am Sure Sports, and I am Omar Stennett, aka Manning's Man. You understand me? Pastor, so many different names and things. All right. But before we leave, we have to let you see our outro video. Bless up yourself, everybody.
I am Sure Sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy, 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 boy. Me say I am Sure Sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am Sure Sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.